Hey, welcome to WVU Football Going Deep. I am Forrest Poston. This is Bianca. And she is, well, that's not quite the attention that she wanted. All right. Maybe she'll be back. We'll see. EerSports did a little 3-minute video on YouTube. Each one guessing one player who would be drafted other than Milam, just with Milam being the assumed early draft pick, which is reasonable. And I figured, why start to open a can of worms if you're not going to open the thing all the way up and dump them out and have a little fun? So, thought I would take a look at all of the proposed starters who will be finishing up their eligibility this year, and draft prospects. Is it too early to be talking about that? Of course it is. What else have we got to talk about, though? And of course, with essentially all of these, whether they get drafted, what level they get drafted, signs a free agent, whatever, it's going to depend on how things go this year. So that part is mostly without saying, but I will say it again later. Now, before I really dive into this, I do want to say please subscribe to the channel. Click the thumbs up button, click the notifications bell, share, tell your friends, and make comments. Now, talking right now about the offense. I'll do defense in a separate video because we got more people to talk about. On the offensive side, and you can see we've got this kind of like steps, groups and steps. Milam is the assumption. He should be an early round draft pick. Could be first round if this season goes well. Cole Taylor is a very likely draft pick. Needs to refine his blocking, sharpen some of his route running, but a season even as good as last year will get him drafted. How high? Don't know. But he'll be drafted as a tight end. Garrett Green. Now there is the first big question. Now before, the talk was that he would have to switch to receiver to get drafted, and I was leaning in that direction because he had talent at quarterback, but there were things that he just had not shown. And he showed most of them last year. He has speed and intangibles. Those will probably be enough to get him drafted, but at this point, not enough to get drafted as a quarterback. More drafted as a let's see what we can do with him kind of player. If he does manage to get his completion rate up to 60% or so, doesn't lose any of the good things he did last season, he has a very good chance of being drafted as a quarterback. He will not be the first quarterback taken in the draft. But if he fixes the one big problem with the precision and touch on short passes especially, sharpens his accuracy, so the throwing receivers open, he will be drafted. So I consider those three to be, I don't want to say certain because crap happens, but, very likely to get drafted. And it's been a heck of a long time since we had 3 players at all, much less 3 players on one side of the ball, get drafted. Now, drop down a couple of steps. Because, now, Brinkman, okay, yeah, he's special teams, but don't have enough to talk about to do special teams all on their own. He probably will sign as a free agent. I don't know if teams take long snappers with a draft even late. Maybe they do. It's not exactly something I have tracked. If there's a team who's, really in need, he could go as a late round draft, but I would expect him to sign and stick as a free agent. Now, Hubbard and Yates, if they play like last year, a team might take a risk on them as a free agent and see if they can, get them to take that next step. In order to get drafted, I think they both have to take a significant step. It's not impossible. Neither of them has shown large steps in improvement along the way, but they've both gotten kind of bounced around. So maybe this year will be the year for one or both of them to fulfill that extra bit of potential, to reach or raise their ceiling. And I think, that's the only way they get drafted. It would be a late round draft. Malone, we're looking at 2 large steps. One large step might get him a shot as a free agent. But it would take, he's a good player. I'm not down on Malone. He's a guy that, as a person, you want him in your locker room. He just may not have the ceiling necessary to get even to a training camp. But basically, of all of the guys graduating or using up their eligibility on offense, I would not rule any of them out. Again, 3 very likely to be drafted, and 3, one that I'd say is certain to sign a free agent contract, 2 with a shot at a free agent contract, and 1 with a long shot at a free agent contract. I do not see Malone getting drafted. But I wouldn't rule it out. But man, when was the last time this time of year we could look at the team and even be talking about this many guys as draft prospects? Better than that, when was the last time that we could say losing 3 draft picks on offense and 3 or 4 free agent prospects won't hurt the next year? Every one of these guys has somebody there who can replace. I'm not saying be like. Mark Hill is not going to be like Green. He's going to be Mark Hill. He's going to do some things better than Green. He's not going to run and dodge as much as Green, as well as Green. But he's going to be very good. He's going to maintain the loyalty and leadership. The culture will still be strong. Now, behind Taylor, Boy, I've already forgotten if Jen Ross has 1 or 2 years left. But I think he's got 2 years to play 1. But we do have Dixon. And Dixon, I mean, 2025 for Dixon will be do it or go home. And, I think he'll do it. We've still got Noah Braham. We've got Samarco. And we've already got a committed prospect, coming in next year. So, tight end, we're good. We're going to be good. Williams will take Milam's place. Will he be as good as Milam? Probably not. But he'll be exceptional. And he'll be part of a high-quality line. That's the main thing. And, of course, Hubbard, Yates, and Malone have all been serviceable, good players. But the young guys behind them should be better. I mean, Bosley may take over a spot this year. So I think we have a shot at a whole slew of guys going into the NFL. Some of them as free agents will stick. Might take them a few years to, show on the field, but they've got chances. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble a bit. That's it for the offense. Let's see, there'll be more players to go into on defense. I will get that one up later. I'll be talking to you again. And heaven only knows what might happen. Maybe we will finally find out just how they're going to fit those last 2 transfer commits into the scholarship limit. And we'll talk about whatever there is to talk about. Oh, I might talk about Locked On Big 12. Boy, they've got me really annoyed. All right. Thanks for dropping in, guys. I'll talk to you later.